G'day folks, Ben from Snowy's here today. I'm showing you how to assemble the Oklahoma Joe's Blackjack Kettle Charcoal Grill. This is a really high quality product for grilling, smoking and also barbecuing. It does come disassembled in the box though, but it's pretty easy to put together. So when you buy your Oklahoma Joe's Blackjack grill, smoker, barbecue, charcoal grill, it comes in a box like this that weighs probably about 40 kilos. The product itself weighs about 36, but then all this packaging is probably going to push it up to about 40 kilos. About 70 centimeters by 63 centimeters by about 43 centimeters in height. So I'll start by pulling everything out. Now they do recommend in the instructions that you cut down the sides of the box and flatten it out. I think I can actually pull everything up and out the top. It's all really well packaged with polystyrene, cardboard and plastic bags, so it's all protected. There's a few little rub marks on the polystyrene, but that will easily rub off. Now running through what's in the package or in the box, you've got the enameled cook plates here. This is the shelf that will go on the very base. These are side attachments, shelf and hook for your utensils. Smokestack, hinge and a handle. Moving around to the front here, there's 4 legs. 2 legs with an axle for the wheels and 2 without. The main body, or this is the base of the kettle here. The lid of the kettle over here. A charcoal tray that goes inside that's going to go on the very bottom to catch the charcoal, and a little temperature gauge that goes in the top, and then 2 metal wheels here that will go on the bottom as well. And you do get a few guides and things. So there is a grilling guide here. Now I don't do grilling, but you get some stickers and a bit of information on here about how to grill, how to care for your grill, some support contact information, a guide on care or maintenance as well, and most importantly you get a manual to help you assemble it. Now it comes with this neat little package of nuts and bolts and things here, which are all labelled on the back, BAA, ED, FC. That all correlates with each step that's outlined in this book here. And firstly, it outlines everything that comes in the box, which I just went through, and then at each step it tells you exactly what combination of those nuts, bolts and washers that you need to do each step here. So I'm going to follow through step by step here today, but as you do it, make sure you refer to your manual to make sure you're using the right combination of nuts, bolts and things. So this is telling me the first thing I need to do is grab 16 of each of these things and the 4 legs, flip the lid or the base upside down and attach the legs. So I've got all my nuts and bolts down here that I need. I've also got a Phillips head screwdriver and a little shifter spanner here to help put it together. And I've put the base upside down just on some plastic here to stop it scratching around on the ground too much. Now, it's important to get the orientation right here. Now, if I go by what the picture shows in the manual, it says as I'm facing the base here, this handle, this adjustment handle here, there's only one of these is facing me, and on the opposite side are the mounting holes for the hinge. So it's important we get that orientation right, because we need to put the legs on the right, or both the legs in the right orientation, because we've got 2 legs with an axle on it and 2 legs without. So the manual is saying that from this orientation, the legs with the axle go on the right hand side, the legs without go on the left hand side. Now I don't know if there's going to be any real issue if you get it mixed up, but if I just follow the manual then I can't go wrong. The other thing to bear in mind is with these, legs with the axle on it, you can get these on the wrong way around. You need to put them on the right side. If I put them this way, we can see if I line these 4 holes up with a mounting spot on the body there, the wheels are going to sit such that I'd have to move it sideways rather than pull it towards you. Whereas if I flip them around, we can see that the axles suddenly are facing the right way for the wheels, so that the thing will actually roll. I'll just hold a wheel up to give you an example. The wheels will actually roll the right way rather than going sideways. Whereas if I put this on the wrong side, the wheels are facing the wrong way. So just little things to keep in mind as you're assembling it. And that way you're not going to find you have to undo it and put them back on once you've got most of it assembled. So the first step, or the first leg we put on, I've got the nuts and bolts in my hand here. I'm going to line the mounting holes on the leg up here with the 4 mounting holes in the body here. I've got this on the right side here. So I'm going to put these nuts and bolts that I've got in my hand here through and do the nut up on the inside. So this is going to go through the leg, through this hole and inside the unit. And then I get a washer and a nut for each one, and they are going to go through with a bolt on the inside to hold the legs on. So I've just done 2 up firmly just to hold that in place. You can't sort of put the screws in and leave it sitting there because the leg will fall off. So those two are just holding it in place. And now it's still wobbly. I'll put the other 4 in, and I'm going to do the same, just leave them wobbly for all 4 legs before I tighten it up. So I've done these up finger tight, and I've just noticed another way to make sure you've got the orientation of these. Well, firstly, like I mentioned, to make sure these axles are pointing outwards, but also that these little mounting points here, there's one on each side, one on this side here as well, are pointing inwards. They're mounting points for the tray that's going to go on the base here. So if I put them on the wrong side, they'd actually be facing the wrong way. So just one other check you can do to make sure that these axles are facing the right way so the whole unit wheels with you. Now, it doesn't matter so much with these because these have got 2 different mounting points on each side here, so no matter which side I mount these on, they're going to be facing the same way. So I've just got 4 more screws or nuts and bolts on each leg, and that's all of them attached. Okay, so next step is to put the tray on the base. Now, orientation for this, remember we're working upside down, so this is the top side, this is the bottom side, so I'm going to attach it this way, and the diagram shows that this sticker is facing on the non-wheeled side, so this way for the kettle. Probably doesn't matter because it looks pretty much symmetrical, but I'll follow the instructions to a T. Now these have got little mounting holes on each corner here, those mounting holes there, on the opposite side here as well, and they line up with these mounting holes in the legs here. So we'll grab more of these screws, put the screw through here and do each one up in here. Now all of this is just finger tight at the moment. The instructions say not to tighten it up until we've actually got it all upright and standing, and then tighten it with a screwdriver. Okay, so before we flip it over, we've got to put the wheels on because these legs are higher than this side here to allow for the height of the wheel. Now to do that, we need 4 of these heavier duty washers and 2 of these little pins. So to put the wheel on, we put the washer on first, we put the wheel on after. There's no particular orientation with the wheel. Slide that on, then slide another washer on, and then we use a little pin here to secure it in place by pushing through the little keeper hole on there. I'd recommend maybe putting it in that way so that when it's upside down, the weight of the pin is being pulled downwards rather than upwards, but probably not going to matter too much. So that's the wheel secured in place. So we can now flip it over so it's the right way up. And before we go any further, I'm going to grab a screwdriver and maybe the adjustable wrench. I don't think I'm going to need that though. I can probably do it with my fingers because the bolts hold in place, and just firm up all of these nuts and bolts in here to make sure they're nice and firm. So we've got 4 on each leg. We've also got 4 around the base here as well, up underneath here. Just tighten all them up nice and firmly while it's sitting upright, and that way it settles into place and doesn't wobble around too much. So the next step is to put side accessories on here. We've got a shelf and also a hanger or a handle, if you like. Now, there is a bit of a mix-up in the instructions here, I think, because the instructions show that the shelf will go on this side here, the opposite side to the wheels. You can see the wheels are down that side there. Whereas the picture on the box shows this, and the picture on here as well shows that this is on the wheeled side, which actually makes more sense to me because this also doubles as a handle. We want the handle on this side so that we can actually use this to lift the unit up and wheel it around. So that's what I'm going to do in this instance. Now these have a little thread in the bottom here, which takes one of these screws as well, screws in there. So we put this through the hole on the side of, you feel it just come out the bottom here, and then these just screw in the bottom to secure it, stop it from coming out. Just going to hand tighten it and then use a screwdriver to firm it up. The same thing on the side of the kettle with it. It's got the wheels, except we're putting the shelf on this side here. Now you could put these the other way around if you wanted, but I think this is going to be the most functional way to do it. Next step is the hinge for the lid here. Now you got to get the orientation of this one right as well. So look carefully at the instruction manual. It shows it quite clearly, but this larger or sort of filled in bit here goes on the bottom. So that's the wrong way, that's the right way. And these line up with the mounting holes here to go on the edge like this. So it attaches to the base here, and this will eventually attach to the lid. Now there's a combination of nuts and bolts to go in here. Well, same combination as we've had before, but with the addition of this little rubber sort of washer here, it's probably a bit of a heat separator. I'm not exactly sure why it's there, but that goes between the bracket and the body of the kettle. So that will go there. This screw will go from the outside through the rubber washer there, through the body of the kettle, and then we put a washer and a nut on the inside of that. So there's 4 of those to put in. So I'm just going to tighten these up as I go now, so make sure the hinge is nice and firm before we attach the lid, which is going to be our next step. Now this is a little bit awkward with one person, so I want to make sure I've got the orientation right. So our Oklahoma Joe's logo is facing to the front, and these mounting points at the back here, which got these little brackets, are the ones we're going to use to mount to this hinge here. Now I kind of need to hold this with one hand while I do the screws up with the other, so a little bit awkward. And we do also need to remember that these little rubber things need to go on here as well between the hinge and the lid body. So I'm kind of going to rest that there and see if I can do this without moving it too much. I've already moved it, but a little bit of mucking around here to try and get this on at the moment. So I'm actually going to use the little rubber washer to my advantage here, at least just to hold one of them in place. That rubber in there now is just holding that screw or that bolt in place there, so I can at least get one secured. If I can at least get one done on each side, it's going to make putting the others in a little bit easier. So I'm kind of hugging the lid here a bit while I'm holding the screw in on the other, or the bolt on the other side, and doing the nut up on this side. So hopefully now, there's only two fixings in there at the moment, but it's holding the lid up enough so I can now get in and put the other two on. So that was probably the most awkward bit so far, putting this together. So I'll just tighten these up now so the lid's nice and secure, and then we can move on to the next step. So handle is next. So I've got all 4 sets of nuts, bolts and washers there that I need to attach it, and this is the rubber handle that goes on the front. Now orientation is pretty easy because you've got Oklahoma Joe's logo on here, but for reference, that's the way it goes on. You can see the Oklahoma Joe's is the top of the lid here. Mounts on these mounting holes here. We put bolt through the top and washer and nut on the inside. Just going to do these up nice and firmly now before we go to the next step. Okay, we're almost there. Little chimney stack that goes in the top is the next step. I've got the nuts, bolts and washers that I need there. Now this one, you push in from the inside out. It doesn't go on the top. So we push this through the hole in the lid here to the outside. We don't mount it to the outside of the unit. I don't know why it would matter. I guess you could mount it to the outside if you wanted, but the instructions show to go this way. Now we'll put a screw or a bolt, from the outside or top down, and then washer and a nut on the inside. So I'm just going to tighten these 3 bolts up here now, so our chimney stack is secured, and we are almost there. The last step from here is to attach the thermometer, which goes through this little hole in the lid here. Now, the thermometer needs to be attached carefully, and there are specific instructions to say that when we tighten this, to not use this bit here to actually tighten it up. There's 2 screws, two nuts on here. We take one off, so one washer goes over the top here, goes over the outside. The body of the kettle goes through here, and then these 2 go on the inside, and we actually use these bolts to tighten it. We don't use the face of this to tighten it up. We just make sure that's straight, and the bolts here do all the tightening. And probably the best way to tighten this would be to use 2 spanners, one on this nut on this side and one on the nut on the inside as well. But it doesn't actually need to be really tight in there. So I could actually spin that around if I pushed it really hard, but I don't need to. But it's sitting straight now, it's not wobbling, and that's nice and secure. So that's all the sort of nuts and bolts we need to worry about. Our little pack here, apart from a couple of washers, is now empty. So we've used all the screws. That's all the attachment. We're just about done. A few things to put inside, but I just wanted to show you why I think this handle should be on the non-wheeled side, because we can now pick this up and wheel it around. If this was the shelf on this side here, I guess you could pick the shelf up, but this just makes it nice and easy to grab and wheel around. So that's the kettle assembled. Just the last few things to put inside here, which is the ash catcher that goes right in the bottom here, that just sits in there, doesn't need actual attachment. We've got 2 sized grills. The first one goes in the bottom, or the smallest one, sorry, goes in the bottom and sits on top of these lips here. You can see these brackets on the side here. We've got 1, 2 and 3, one on this side here. Bottom of that one supports the smaller of the trays, and then the larger tray sits in the top here. We've got the handles on this tray as well, so when you've got, it'd be hot when it's hot in your gloves, but you can pick it up with that tray there, with these handles on the side here. So that is the Oklahoma Joe's Black Jack kettle, charcoal, grill, barbecue, whatever you want to call it. Very American style device to be able to cook roasts, barbecue, whatever you like in the backyard, smoker. Not something I do, but it feels like a really nice unit. It goes together really well. All the nuts, bolts, and screws lined up, everything did up nice and comfortably. So it feels like a really well heavy duty unit You can check these out online at snowies.com.au where you'll find them at our lowest prices every day. But if you do have any questions, let us know down in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel for all of our latest and greatest information, or check out some other Oklahoma Joe's products like these ones down here.